folk narratives and storytelling. So coming to this, we have the region reflecting rich cultural heritage shaped by its unique history, geography, and ethnic diversity. They serve as oral histories. They serve only oral histories, preserving the region's past, including myths, legends, and historical events. They are even more deeply tied to their identity, region's identity, reflecting the values, beliefs, and customs of its people and helping to define their sense of self and community. When we talk about their customs, we can even talk about certain community believing in the respect to its elders, or not allowing elders of a particular age group to not do certain things because it's the younger one who pass on the lineage of strength, and so they as a sign of respect to do certain things. So you see in the northeastern region, when go and visit, you won't see older ones serving the younger ones. You'll see the younger ones serving the older ones, and the elderly respect, we find that very much rampant in the region, and they demonstrate how the regions adapt and even allows, and how they blend in, and how they even faced all those of marginalization, colonialism, and cultural exchange, how they even faced all those, and how they even are okay with the fact that they moved on from that past, and thus they tell tales even by the work of art. If we even have their walks of life, which represent each narratives, each story of the past, present, and future. When we can categorize Northeast folk narratives, I have categorized them into folk songs, tales, and dances. So when talk about songs, the region consists of naming songs, worship songs, feasting songs, colonial songs, war songs, harvest songs, solidarity songs, unity songs. And when it comes to tales, they consist of creation stories, how did man begin, how did this particular tribe come from a particular cave, etc., and how colonial stories, how the Britishers influenced and impacted their ways of life. Moral stories, they even talk about legends, myths, trickster tales, religious stories, popular stories, historical stories as such. Folk dances, when spoke about, we have hunting dances, we have cultivation dance, agriculture dance, mostly I do believe exist in are very much celebrated in the northeastern region. Eagle dance, to that of the community in which the Mizos and Zomis belong to. Storytelling method, they are oral, basically oral in nature, and they consist of music, songs, dance and performances, puppetry. Through all these, they say, uh, they act themselves, tells tales of how they lived their lives. You I will suggest you to watch dances and mm, dances and religious practices or listen to the music of the sound of northeastern state. You will find a narrative of a tale told by the speaker as such, and or the proverbs. They tell something very different from that of the other region of the state, I believe so. So they even the picture they portray, they have a certain aspect of it which tells that this person went through this, and this group, community of groups, suffered this much. So coming on to next, we have folklore and mythology. Very northeastern Indian folklore is characterized by syncretic mythology, a blending of indigenous tradition with that of the external influences, be it that of Christianity, Buddhism, or Hinduism. That mixing, okay. So that is syncretic mythology, ancestral worship of elders or even ancestors of their past, and how they continue to guide them in the present. That also is their folklore consists of even those elements, and nature's spirituality, how nature spirits like forest and mountains highlights a profound respect for the natural world. How these forces, how these stricter figures or feminine divine goddesses, how they form together and talk about the community. That's what their folklore and mythology is all about. So Northeast Indian folklore is a rich and diverse cultural heritage that blends different traditions and honors their ancestors and nature, and celebrates the power of femininity. But when talks about femininity, we should not even jump directly stating that, oh wow, they are very much feminist in nature. They can be even patriarchal at certain aspect, but yet there's the equal force between the feminine energy and the male centric energy, masculine energy, is often found. The equality does blend in well, and yet it should not be taken for granted that feminism is persistent in the region's locale. Oral narratology. So in Northeast oral narratology, they are vibrant storytelling tradition that preserve their cultural identity, their historical memory, how they pass down from traditional values and beliefs. So I do believe, because of this oral narratology, at a point that the stories or the tales told about a past, uh, it mix in with by word of mouth. As by word of mouth it goes on, it changes with time. So a person, when said a story, his version will be different to that. The version differs from each other, so we don't have factual evidence of its beginning, so to say. But still they preserve their identity through that way, and they offer, this oral narratology offers a window to the northeastern diverse ethnic and linguistic groups, and they use this storytelling techniques like music, dance, and puppetry. And they use all these things. By music, they narrate songs. I mean, they just talk and they blend in with music together, and they tell tales of past and present. So this oral tradition is a treasured part of Northeast India's cultural heritage, and they showcase how the region's rich cultural diversity and resilience, how they are yet modern in nature, and yet how they still believe in the oral part of their narratives. So through stories, through their legends and their myths and historical accounts, Northeast oral narratology keeps the region's history, values, and beliefs alive, making it a vital part of the region's cultural fabric. Northeast folktales and overview. So when talk about this, we have folk tales. Folk tales, we have fairy tales, we have fables, we have myths, we have tall tales. And so in such, what these tales talk about, they act as a cultural mosaic, a rich tapestry of traditional stories and myths and rituals that contribute to the region's cultural diversity. How are they even blending well? That's a question we, at times, the northeasterners even at times believe in, but the acceptance is what is all about. So how diverse this states is found in 8 states, each with different and unique ethnic communities, and how they reflect their distinct identity, how they reflect and accept, that's the thing to be applauded about. And rooted in nature, how they are fixated on their beliefs to their cultural heritage and the nature, their connection to that of nature, and how these stories are deeply connected to natural landscape, incorporating environmental elements, local deities, and moral lessons. So oral tradition, when passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth, folklore becomes an integral part of community celebration, festivals, and religious practices. So Northeast is a vibrant and diverse cultural heritage that reflects the region's cultural diversity, connecting them to nature. When they are even more connected to nature, even now in the modern era, we find them even more clinging to that of nature and belongingness. The strong sense of belonging, they do blend with more modern ideas and elements, and yet the connection to tradition never loses its fertility in the northeastern states.